We'll probably get a nice, like, get all these echoes, I'm sure, because it's just that kind of day. Okay.
You're live.
Yes. Trisha, can you see the chat too?
I will put the chat on my phone so I can keep an eye on it.
All right, guys. Welcome to channel 27. Thanks, Jeff and Trisha, for coming here on my channel with me. We are doing our Royal Family series, and then we're also going to do some live readings. Jenny is sick. We have had technical difficulties. Sorry we're late. And so, Jeff, and just because there's some new subscribers, why don't you guys introduce yourselves? I'm sure everybody knows who you are, but do it again.
Trish, you go first. Ladies first.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. So I'm Trisha. Well, I use the Trisha G, but Trisha Gelder from the UK, numerologist, intuitive. That's how I sort of see myself. Read the cards as well. I have got my own YouTube channel that it is slowly growing. So, but I do a lot of my live feeds on Facebook, but I am going to be moving over to YouTube more. And love coming on these lives with Heidi because we work really well together, and with Jeff. I'm on with Jeff on a Sunday night too. So, yeah, I think I'll hand over to Jeff.
Okay. Well, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. I'm the Christian whistleblower. Nice to be with you. And I'm Heidi. Are you the Heidi Vandenberg I heard about on Coast to Coast last night?
Yeah, thanks to you.
But very nice to be with you. Always a pleasure to be with Heidi and with Trisha, and get well soon, Juju, to Jenny Moonstone. And Jenny Moonstone, Heidi Vandenberg, and the man, the myth, the legend, Rex Bear, are going to be with me on December 10th down here in Florida. We're just lacking a English astrologist or numerologist for that event. Or British, I should say, probably, right? No, English. You're from England.
England, yeah. I class myself British, English, whatever.
I got taken to task once, Trisha, because I called a person from Wales English. He says, I'm not English, I'm British. Welsh. I'm from Wales. So
I'm surprised they didn't say I'm Welsh.
He did say he was Welsh.
Because they class themselves as, like, no disrespect to any Welsh out there, but as if they are separate from the rest of the UK.
I learned that in a quick minute.
And Scottish people do, to a point as well. And they have different rules in Scotland. So in a way, they are more independent from us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What else do we have? Do we have anything else to talk about and bring up about our event? Is there anything else that you wanted to say about that, Jeff?
No, but it's filling up fast, because I did announce it on Coast to Coast last night. So if you want to get in, make sure that you go to jeffreydaugherty.com and pay your entrance cost. It's only $50, and that covers a couple of really nice bonuses. So it's a steal. So make sure that you do get your request in, because we have a hard cap of 100 people, and I got to cut it off as soon as we hit that. And we're getting real close.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So why don't we just dive into these charts? We're going to talk about the Queen and Prince Philip. And if you want to start, Trisha, please. If you want to talk about their numerology, and then I will do their charts.
Who do you want me to start with? If I would say worse, then the Queen or Prince Philip?
Whoever you want, you decide. They're your peeps.
I know this can be very controversial. Let's go with the Queen first, seeing as she is the Queen. But I have to say, it was a little bit difficult for Philip, because he's got so many different, like, when you do numerology, you don't normally put titles, because obviously when I do all the numbers, a full chart, you put your birth names in and your names you use now, but you don't put titles in, like Queen, Duke, Prince, Princess. You don't use them. And the only names, I mean, if anybody out there else can find it, all I could find for him as birth names was Philip Mountbatten. Which I was quite surprised, because I thought there would be. He's got so many different names; it is ridiculous.
That's like the times. That's worse than the times. Trying to figure out people's times.
Yeah. So actually, the other numbers are not really. I don't know how accurate they're going to be, but his birth. I've got his date of birth, so they're going to be accurate. I'm pretty sure it's his date of birth. With the Queen, I could get her birth names, and obviously I've used Windsor as her surname. but has her minor numbers, which is less important. Elizabeth II, again, you wouldn't really put like the 2 in. So bear in mind, everybody, that this is going to be for the numerology, especially with Philip, not quite. I can only do some of this because I'm not sure even if he's got any middle names or anything. I couldn't find anything. Just loads of different titles which you can't use.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's got about 6 different titles. It's like, especially after what I listened to last night, and I'm not normally into about the reptilian stuff, but I've heard some, it makes sense actually. But anyway.
Trisha, do you consider yourself a royalist?
Not really, but I was a fan of, fan's the wrong word. I did like Diana. But I feel not really a royalist, no, but I'm not anti-royalist, but I've never liked him. I've never liked him. Philip.
Interesting.
He's very rude, outspoken, and not sort of thing you expect. He says some very racist sort of things. He's got into a lot of trouble over the years. Well, not literal trouble, but it's been talked about. He says some very racist comments and just totally out of order comments to people just in public. It's bizarre. But I did like Diana.
Their moon and ascendant are the exact same by these times, and it's a little creepy. And they have a lot of weird planets. Like when I'm looking at this, you know, it's immediately just something's up. I mean, they have the same exact moon in Aslacia, the snake, the reptilians. And yes, I'm wearing snake skin to represent. I said I'm going to wear snake skin.
So their ascendants are in the sign of the snake, Heidi?
Their moons are the way they think. They're in Aslacia, the snake. But both of them, the way the times are online, and who knows if these are right, but it makes them both Sagittarius ascendant this way in Vedic. So they both have planets in a Swani nakshatra, which is why she likes horses. I watched a little bit on her.
She's big on horses. She just loves
riding horses everywhere, you know? And
I don't know if she still rides in her 90s, but she was in her 80s still riding horses. Seriously, that's like crazy, isn't that?
And Jenny's saying that she bets their birth documents are far different from anything that we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the same attitude number. They're in the same personal year, because that's going to be quite interesting next year. I don't know if we're going to publicly predict it. We may, whether we're right or wrong about that, about the endings next year.
Yeah.
Can I ask a silly question?
Yes, please.
No,
what's the relationship between Philip and Her Majesty the Queen?
We think they get on, actually, from what we discussed.
No, I mean, is he her husband? Is he your son?
Husband.
Husband. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Philip's her husband. Charles is one of her sons. Philip's her husband. The Duke of Edinburgh is one of his titles he goes by.
That's Philip, correct?
Philip.
Great.
Duke of Edinburgh. But
they could be related. There's a lot of weird things. Their kids, like, I don't know.
Well, he's from Greece originally. He's born in Corfu, and that was a big thing then. Like, they're talking now about Meghan Markle being American, and she'll be the first American, and like she has got ethnicity, different ethnicity. He was Greek, and that was quite unheard of from what I believe coming into the royal family.
Yeah, I mean, so what's their numbers? Now we know the Queen's is 7, like me.
Interestingly, Philip. So he's her husband, Jeff, is a master number 11 too, like Jeff.
Wow.
A 7, the same as Heidi.
Oh my God, that's a little creepy.
Yeah. How interesting is that?
The only 9 I could find, and I have researched these before. Like, I was a bit of a geek going through there's a lot of 11-2s in the royal family. The next 2 kings in line technically are both 11-2s, Philip and William.
Trisha, I have his birth name. Oh, no, I don't.
I can say all I've got is Philip Mountbatten. I couldn't find anything.
Sorry about that. I thought I had it, but it wasn't what I thought it was.
They must have more middle names, because they usually got lots of middle names, but he's an exception. But then he was born in Corfu. Maybe it's different. But he's master number 11-2 life path number. Now, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, it proves that it can be used for good, because they're here to bring spiritual enlightenment to the masses. But also, it can be used, like anything can be used and abused, you know, because some people will use it for the good and then others will abuse it. I mean, Barack Obama, I mean, he was an out and out narcissist, and I think probably, I hope I don't get shot for saying this, I think Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, is narcissistic. I mean, the things he comes out with is outrageous. He's a Gemini in Western astrology, so it'd be interesting. Don't know if he's a Gemini in Vedic though. So he's got a birthday number 1. He's not. Will he be Taurus in Vedic?
Yes, he's a Taurus sun, and like there's so many weird things in this chart, and I'm going to show it to you. I'll share it in a second, but I wanted to put their compatibility into. Hold on.
I'll finish this because I'm not going to do all his other numbers because I think they could be so wrong if we have his full names. It was hard. It's weird how it was hard to get his information. He's born on the 10th of June, so he's a birthday number 1 like myself. He's actually got 2 numbers the same as myself. So leadership, yes, he likes to be in charge. He's got an attitude number 7, so he will be taking in everything about everybody. That's taken from the month of birth and the day of birth. So he's born the 10th of June, so that makes it a 7. He's currently the same as the Queen. They're both in a year 8, which is aiming as high as you can. Karmic year, what goes around comes around. Can be a very good year for them. I mean, he's 96. That's like, I don't know how he keeps going. But next year, and this is something, they're both in a year of endings now. I'm going to put it out there. It's potential. They could, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll be the first to put my hands up. They could both like leave this planet next year.
Can we ask for rods?
Sure.
I'll let Jeff do this one.
Does he have a job?
Wish my rods were here.
Yeah. Does he have an actual job that he does on a position, or is he just the Queen's
Well, he's the Duke of Edinburgh with about 6 other different titles, but he's 96, so he has really reduced his duties now. He virtually doesn't really do much, but then he is 96. I mean, how many 96-year-olds are going to be? You don't really see.
Feeble, Trisha?
Pardon?
Is he feeble?
He's starting to look it. I mean, yeah, but he's tall. Like, he was a very, like, I didn't find him, he was quite a handsome young man. And up until the last few years, for a 90-odd-year-old, he's been pretty, like, I don't know how they keep going. She's 91, he's 96. But he is starting to look, I mean, if you look at him now, he does look, if I can say it, reptilian. And yeah. I'm not normally into all that, as you know. It's quite new to me.
Yeah, I agree with Jenny. She's saying they know the secret to long life. I agree with that. So am I asking, is Her Majesty the Queen going to die next year? Is that what we're asking?
Yes.
Okay. Is Her Majesty the Queen going to die next year? No.
No.
Is Prince Philip going to die next year? Yes. So there we go. 2018, folks. Let me ask just one more time. Is Prince Philip going to die in 2018? Yes, he is.
They're both in a year of endings next year.
Yeah.
Ask it if she's going to die this year.
That's an interesting question. Will Her Majesty the Queen die this year? No, looks like she's got another year in her.
Because her mother did live to be, the Queen Mother lived to be 102, I think it was, something like that.
Yeah.
But her ending could be losing her husband. And I don't like predicting it. My father died in his year 9, ironically, and he was in his 70s. And I'm not saying everybody out there, don't panic if you're in a year 9, you're not going to die. It's just a gut feeling I have.
Jenny says, what is dead may never die.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Seriously, I looked at so many pictures of her and today, and there's this one picture. I sent it to my mom and I said, Mom, I was trying to get my mom to send me a picture of me. This picture that I have a picture. I look just freaking like this at this age. It's freaky. But I was looking at her and there's something like, I can't even explain it. Like, there's something just off.
I mean, if you think she's 91,
I don't know what it is.
How many 90-year-old and 1-year-old women look and are as active as she is?
Yeah, and I mean, I have no opinions on these people because I don't know anything about them besides, looking at this. And who's to say this time is right? These birthdays are even right? We don't know. We just don't know. But it is awfully ironic that they picked two birthdays with the exact same moons, the exact same ascendants, and so many similarities. But their compatibility, like there's something good. Their moons are good together. But other than that, like their Mars sucks, their Jupiter sucks. And there's a lot of issues with the children in both of their charts.
Yeah, I mean, I could go through like his expression number, his heart's desire, and his personality, but I don't know how correct we're going to be because I don't know. If he was just Philip Mountbatten, then they'll be correct. But if he's not at birth, then they could be way off. Like his expression number, so his attitude number is correct if the date of birth is correct. So he is in a year of endings next year, so it'll be interesting to observe. I think she would carry on though without him, but I don't know about the other way around.
Yeah, something tells me that Her Majesty the Queen is not a sentimental person. I don't think that Philip leaving this earth is going to have too much of an effect on her in that regard. I think she'll be here as long as she decides to be here.
I mean, his expression number, if it's Philip Mountbatten, is an 8, which is, wanting to be the boss, the manager. His heart's desire is about the house, the home, the family. That doesn't fit for me because that's my heart's desire, and he was not like that at all. This is where I'm questioning whether his names were correct that I've got for his birth details. That's why I was reluctant to really do those. And his personality number is an 11 too, going on Philip Mountbatten. But it's very rare that they don't have a middle name for the royal family.
Trish, do you think that thing about hearth, family, home could be that he's really committed to the dynasty, the royalty?
It could be, but it's usually literally about children,
Gotcha.
And he wasn't. The Queen, if you
knock on my door, be right back.
The Queen, when you see her when she was younger, was more hands-on with her children, whereas he wasn't.
Yeah, but she wasn't really either.
Oh no, I mean not like
a normal. A little cold with them.
I mean, not like a normal. They were sent off to boarding school. They had loads of nannies, but in that sort of, obviously their lives will be very different to the average life because they don't lead a life like us we do, and really they have children just to carry on the monarchy, don't they? Really, they have children to be an heir to the throne, not really.
So Jeff, somebody asked, and there's an interesting question here, but I think the answer is just my opinion. I think the answer is no, because I think he does not look like a woman. Where's that question?
Oh, it was Prince Charles born a female?
He has an arc in his back and a childbearing hips. Now, I get
that bowling movie with Woody Harrelson, Kingpin.
I like that film.
So I'll ask that: was Prince Charles born female? No.
Yeah, you know why he has those hips? Because he's got planets in his 9th house, Jupiter and Saturn conjunct. So your 9th house is your hips and thighs. Jupiter can give you like expand things, you see? So I can see where that is. He actually probably has been having hip problems.
Somebody said, why is Prince Philip Prince? Well, we're not, unless he was the king, he wouldn't be called king, would he? He wouldn't be called King Philip.
Right, because she's, unless you're
incest. She was crowned the queen. He doesn't become a king. It's only if he's crowned king of England. Like if Charles or William, they will be a king, but their wives won't be a queen.
Interesting.
They'll be still, whatever title they have.
Yeah.
But my son brought up an interesting, and it's still in the same. He says that if Prince Harry and Meghan Markle go on to have a child, I don't know if this is true, technically because she's American, could the child stand for presidency and also be in line to the throne at the same time?
Huh. Well, I know my son was born in Germany, and an American born abroad to American parents can still run for the presidency. Just ask Ted Cruz about that. But I don't know if you're born to mixed parents abroad, if you could run for the presidency. I don't think so.
It would be a bit of an interesting one, though, if that was the case, wouldn't it?
Someone to be the king of England and the president of the United States simultaneously?
Yeah, can you imagine?
That would be quite something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that was just a little thing. But yeah, Prince Philip, like yeah, if anybody out there does ever finds his proper names, because I couldn't find them, unless that is his proper names.
You know, Trisha, we're not here yet, but I saw Prince Charles on some show my mother was watching on PBS or something, and they were talking about English history, and I was really struck by how kind and gracious he was with the interviewers, and very, very much seemed like a regular guy, you know, joking, laughing. He was quite charming. I was taken aback by how charming he was.
Yeah, he's a bit of a charmer, and he's very into organic. Like I to be honest, I'm no expert. I wouldn't be surprised if he would really prefer not to be king, because he's really into organic farming. He can be very outspoken. He's caused a lot of ruffles in the House of Lords with his outspoken views. Because he's very much about preserving the land, or he wants to do things that he's just not allowed to do. Or if he did become king, he would be restricted on doing so. Yeah, he can be very charming.
I can see why Diana was attracted to him.
But I wouldn't know if I believe that he wants to do all these good things to the land. Just my opinion. He's got no planets in Virgo.
That's what I mean, unless it's an act.
Yeah, he's an actor, or this is the wrong birth chart. But this chart makes sense. I mean, it really does. Do you know how tall he is, Trisha?
Who, Prince Philip or Charles?
Yeah.
Philip must be at least 6 foot.
Oh, were you talking about Prince? Who were you just talking about?
Sorry, I was just dropping. Jeff asked about Prince Charles. Who could
okay.
Be, you know.
Yeah. Then we were talking about somebody else. I'm talking about
Prince Philip. Yeah, the Queen's husband is about 6 foot at least.
Yeah.
And she's like 5'4".
Which would make it sense why he's a Sagittarius.
Yeah, Her Majesty the Queen's rather short, right?
Yeah, I think she's about 5'4".
I have a feeling she's a Scorpio ascendant like me too. And there's for numerous reasons, but when I have her in here as a Sagittarius, that's what the time says. But when I look at her face and her chin and her eyes, I really do believe she's a Scorpio with K2 in the first house, just like me.
Mm.
And Trisha, don't Her Majesty the Queen and Heidi have the same numbers?
Same life path number, 7.
Same life path number, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll never really know the Queen. There's this, yeah, that's probably why she can sort of emotionally detach.
Yeah. Oh, she's got K2 in the first. She can detach from anything. She's like me. This makes sense. She doesn't have that warm and fuzzy, you know.
Yeah. And it was funny to watch her when but you know, it was actually comical to me where she went and tried to comfort the people that were shot at that concert. And, you know, it's just not in her nature. Yeah, girl's laying in the bed who's been shot, and the Queen's like, well, other than that, did you enjoy the concert?
Was that the Manchester one?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Was that the one in Manchester with Ariana
yes.
Grande? I saw that video, and it was just like, she was like, as if it was just a normal day out. And I was like, yeah. What the hell?
But she doesn't have that warm and fuzzy like Heidi's talking about. And it was so apparent. I mean, I give her credit for going out there and trying, but it was like, wow, that's just crazy. She has no idea, no bedside manner whatsoever.
Whereas Diana, if she'd have been alive, she would have been there as a completely different energy.
Would have been totally different.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys ask the Rods if she was born at oh yeah, shoot. Can you ask the Rods if she was born at 12:15 or 12:15 a.m.?
Okay. Was Her Majesty the Queen born at 12:15 a.m.? Emphatic no.
Okay. 2, ask it if it's 2:14.
Pardon me?
2:14?
Okay. Was Her Majesty the Queen born at 2:14 a.m.? Why would you ask that? It's saying yes.
Because that's what it has on. That's what it has on the online. So we'll go.
Okay.
So,
very interesting.
Stuff about Philip that I have is pretty minimal, purely because I don't trust the names that I could find. The names I have for the Queen, I think, are more accurate.
We have a Rod skeptic in the chat room.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Who?
Just somebody that keeps saying, it's bogus. I call BS, blah, blah, blah. Well, go ahead. That's all right.
Yeah.
Mark, relax, okay?
That's funny. I said take a deep breath.
I don't want to start deleting people. Okay, so.
I just block them. That's my answer. Just block the suckers.
Trisha's like, I don't know why you deal with these people. Just block them.
That's what I have to do now.
She looks so sweet and nice, but she's like, I'll block them. Block, block, block.
I think it's all my Gemini stuff. Just block them.
I have a question.
Somebody just brought up, why do I always call her Majesty the Queen? I've got a good friend, John Ward, who's British, and he's so drilled into me. Don't speak of the Queen unless you say Her Majesty the Queen first.
Well,
so
that is, her title.
I try to be polite, so that's why I'm calling her Her Majesty the Queen. I do try to be polite when possible.
And I served 11 years Queen and country, in a way, but I'm not a royalist.
I might call her Liz and just call her Liz. Lizzie the Lizard.
Lizzie the Lizard. That's funny. Liz, Lizard.
Yeah.
I know, I was just thinking that. Can you imagine if she's watching us?
Ingrid just discovered your channel, Heidi, and loves it.
She just watched some normal TV, so she could possibly see this.
She could.
Look,
Just remember, I am saying Her Majesty the Queen, so don't get mad at me. It's her. She's the one that you should be mad at.
Yeah, don't worry, Lizzie. It's all good. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal.
So what's his stuff then? What do you get?
I'm fascinated by her. He's like, in my opinion, he's like, I'd take him or leave him, whatever. He's got his own problems. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what I'm
He doesn't seem to be that central in anything, does he, Heidi? That's why I asked Trisha, does he have a job? Because he's just kind of like, he's like wallpaper. He's just there.
He's just there now. I mean, he is 96. You've got to remember it. But before, he just really did follow the Queen around. He didn't really.
All right.
He's there to carry her bags and hold the dogs.
I don't think he was
Oh my God.
the corgis.
Right. He holds the leashes, picks up the dew. Although I doubt he does. They probably have someone else that does the duty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's her chart. Okay. No, his chart. Well, let's go to him first. Let's look at them both. Okay. Here, just look at this together. I mean, this is just freaking amazing. Okay. She's up here, he's down here. First of all, they both have a moon in Aslacia in the 8th house. Anytime you have a moon in Aslacia, it can go south, okay? Especially when it's in the 8th house. Because what's the 8th house? It's the Scorpio house. So it's the control, surrender, manipulation, scandals, chronic illness, death, inheritance, sex, secrets, investigation, astrology, occult, major changes and transformation, mafia, addictions, disgrace, taxes, government spies, deep-rooted issues, death and rebirth, morticians, insurance, astrologers. It's the 8th house, the Scorpio house, okay? So when your moon goes there, that you have that. Now, if I gave you a reading and I said you have a moon in Aslacia, I probably wouldn't say this because we just know this is like a chart of a different level. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about something totally different. And I do know some of the scandals, and there are a lot of things that are flying around there. I saw a boy hanging from, did you see that picture I sent? That boy hanging from the palace. So there's a lot of things that they say that they're involved in a lot of bad stuff, right? And I'm not going to get too much into that. I think everybody knows what we're talking about since we have a lot of followers that follow that on here. But I'm not going to say the words, but all I'm going to say is it's definitely in the charts. And last night, I think somebody asked me, Jen asked, how do you see that? Okay, well, I'm going to show you. One big thing would be the 5th house. Well, he has K2 conjunct Venus in the 5th house. So K2 and Venus when you have your fifth house is your children. It's also business. It's also rape. It's interesting how the fifth house is rape and it's children. Do you see what I'm saying? But it's also creativity. It's also, you know, it's your heart, liver, spleen, pancreas. It's gambling, child psychologist. I mean, so this is like, there's so many different things what these houses means, but I'm just going to go with, you know, what we're talking about. K2 can go dark. Okay. K2 can go dark, but it isn't a K2 nakshatra. So that's kind of why I'm like, but it's conjunct Venus. Venus is pleasure. So when you have K2 conjunct Venus in the house of pleasure or together about pleasure, K2 doesn't care about pleasure. So there's already a conflict of interest here with these two planets. K2 and Venus conjunct. Yes, that person is spiritual. Yes, that person's mystical. Yes, that person is psychic and intuitive. But when you have that in your chart, it's like it can go. I mean, it can make somebody gay. It can make somebody never satisfied with romance. Very not like it can make him have issues with his children. Like he might not like he felt like his kids were kind of a burden to him, you know?
Heidi, are you saying the queen is spiritually intuitive or Prince Philip?
They both are pretty freaking intuitive. She's definitely way more. She's borderline. She's got K2 in the first house. So, and I'm not saying everybody that has K2 in the first house is a saint. That's for sure. You know, and it's in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is like.
She's got the psychic life path number.
Yeah, so Her Majesty is probably tuned in.
She's got 2 sevens at least in her chart.
Quite honestly, she'd probably rather be a tarot reader, like
or an astrologer.
An astrologer / tarot reader.
I'll bet you the queen reads tarot. Let's say.
I bet she does.
Does Her Majesty the Queen read tarot? Absolutely, she does. I'll guarantee you she does. The rods even say yes.
Does she follow astrology? I guarantee you she does too.
I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would say that's a big yes.
Does Her Majesty the Queen follow astrology? Absolutely.
Yeah. Smart woman. All right. Yeah. So another thing, her sun, which the sun is like, you have to look at sun for leadership status. The fifth house is also politics. And it's also politics. It's government, you know, government rule. She has Saturn and Scorpio in the 12th house. She probably doesn't sleep well. Ask it if the queen sleeps. Ask it if this queen never sleeps. I guarantee you she never sleeps. She's living a moksha life. Like if it was up to her, she probably wouldn't have wanted kids. She probably wouldn't have wanted, you know, I mean, she kind of got sucked into that route, you know? So, and she's definitely this Mars, Jupiter in the second, that's feisty. I mean, when she says something, that's kind of like Mars and on Jupiter, Jupiter's children, Mars is, she was intense. I wouldn't want to mess with her. I bet she has a sister. I have no idea. Does she have sisters?
Margaret, yeah, Margaret's died. Princess Margaret.
Younger?
Yeah.
So look.
I think so. I should double check that. I should know this.
The queen sleeps less than 6 hours a night.
And
Her Majesty the Queen.
Princess Margaret was very beautiful, but she died quite a few years ago.
Look, this woman has K2 in the first house in Sagittarius. That's somebody that is in charge, period. I mean, and it's somebody that's in charge and she doesn't care. Like if her husband died, I don't think she would be too sad about it. You know?
Yeah. Her sister was young.
She's playing a part. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She probably is lost a lot of the time. It's what happens when you have K2 in the first house. And then, you know, you're lost, but then what happens is you're in a different, like materialistic stuff's never going to make her happy, even though she has everything. I mean, I will say that's also, I noticed she liked a lot of foreign countries. And that's why you like, this is all about traveling in foreign countries. And when she was younger, that's like the first thing she did.
Well, she rules a lot of foreign countries, or at least did.
Yeah. And she was like, and it looked, but you know, when I will say this, K2 becomes moldable when it's in your first house. So, you know, she gets into she could have won a different path where it maybe didn't go so bad. But when you have K2 in the first house, you're just lost, usually up until 30. So when you have K2 in the first house, you're lost. You're just kind of like being nice to people and trying to figure out where you fit in. Do you see? And then you just keep getting like, okay, this is never going to make me happy. So you kind of like dabble and try anything and try to hang out with anybody, and so
didn't she become the queen at age like 25 or something? I probably should know.
Young.
She was very young,
very
25
young.
or something like that.
Yeah.
And her sister was 4 years younger. She died in 2002. I knew she died, but I didn't think it was that long ago. But yeah, 2002. She was a healer. She was a 6.
The sister?
She was a healer of the family, the 6, yeah. Margaret was a 6, Margaret Rose.
So, Trisha, do we know if Her Majesty the Queen should meet her demise, who would take over?
Well, it'll be, in theory, it'll be Prince Charles.
Right, in theory, but some have said that he wouldn't, like you suggested, he wouldn't, he would abdicate the throne.
Then it would be Prince William.
Okay.
And Kate would be, obviously, she wouldn't be queen, but she would be Prince. I don't know what the title would be. What would it be? Princess Kate? I can't remember what their title is. There's so many titles to remember. It would be William and Kate would be next in line.
But she wouldn't be queen just because she's married to the king.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like if she was the one in line for the throne, she'd be the queen and he'd be the prince. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I'm pretty sure they're not called king and queen, both of them.
I bet these two have good sex.
Queen and Prince Philip?
Yeah, I can give them that. I'll give them that. That's probably why they're still together. They both have the 8th house. They're like real clingy to each other. They have an emotional bond together where it's like, yeah.
So maybe Prince Philip isn't as feeble as we think.
Oh, no, I don't think so. No.
I don't even want to think about that.
No. But I have another 10, 11.
With all due respect.
And his 7th house, his 7th house is Gemini. His 7th house has Mars and Mercury conjunct. So you would say immediately, his wife, like, you're going to be attracted to people that are very, very power, that are Mars or. Okay, can you ask the rods if Heidi knew her on a past life in Mars? We got to ask it if she was with us on Mars at some point.
The Queen?
Yeah, Lizzie.
Yeah, somebody here is spoofing Rex. That's making me uncomfortable. It's not really Rex. They're trying to pretend they're Rex, and they've got his picture on their meme for their meme.
Really? Oh yeah, Gandalf the Grey.
Yeah, so I just timed him out, Heidi. I wanted to ask if you wanted to block him because I don't want to do that without asking. So anyway, did Heidi know Her Majesty the Queen on Mars in a past life? Yes.
Is she watching this?
Did I know Her Majesty the Queen on Mars in a prior life? Yes.
Which that means Trisha knew her too.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I want to be respectful to her. Maybe she was messing with me on Mars.
Maybe that's why we joined the military, Jeff.
Maybe.
Maybe she abused me on Mars, and maybe that's why. Maybe I was her daughter. Ask her that.
Was
the rods
Heidi the daughter of Her Majesty the Queen on Mars? No.
No.
Are your rods here?
I think so.
Heidi's rods are there.
No, they're not. I heard.
Oh,
damn it.
Yeah. That's funny.
I did the tracking and it says they'll be there by 8. Too bad, Heidi.
That makes me sad.
I'm sorry.
I would love to be in on this rod thing right now.
Heidi, do you got some boots on right now?
Yeah, I do.
Show us those boots.
They're not the boots you showed me, are they?
No,
nice.
Oh.
It was like, if she's got them boots on, she showed me out and just cried. You would give Jeff like a heart attack, I think, if he got the others on.
Oh my gosh, we are not going here right now.
I missed it. And I'm probably glad I did.
Yeah.
You know what? All I have to say, I did say that I was going to show something.
Uh-oh.
I told somebody, Scotty started talking about all that crazy stuff last night. You know how you guys got into that conversation?
Oh, about the cards, yeah.
I blame that about Scotty. I won't take any responsibility.
Well, and I said, I'll show you this deck that I accidentally bought of tarot.
Accidentally on purpose.
Is it like when my son bought the gay man's tarot?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Tell the story. Who was it? What did he say? Who was it?
He got aligned to them.
I was in the witch store with my son, and he was buying a deck, and he picked up this one deck, and I had opened it up the day before because I was looking at all of them, and he's like, "Oh, I feel this one resonates with me. I feel very aligned with it." I'm like, "Bro, you don't want that one." He goes, "Oh, yes, I want it." And it was really expensive. He gets it home, opens it up, and he's gone through the cards, and he's like,
"Oh dear,
I got to take this back." And bro, you can't take back a tarot deck. And he started showing me the pictures, and I'm not against anybody, but this was the gay man's tarot. Every single one of them was Fabio naked with his butt, and it was like the most homoerotic artwork I've ever seen in my life, and it was all male.
Okay, this is the tarot, like by Lori Walls. Okay,
which look quite innocent on the box, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it said exotic, and it said erotic. I grabbed like 5 decks, you know, so I just grabbed it.
It's a bit phallic on the front. I think that was a giveaway.
You bought the erotic tarot?
Oh, Jeff, you're
yeah, but there's no. All right, the tower.
Oh, nice. It's a big schlong, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Okay.
Oh dear.
Because
James Stittler says numerology is useless. Tarot is far more helpful.
I think that comment is useless, but that's just me.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll show you one more. I got to show you.
Numerology is not useless. I don't know how anyone that's thinking can make.
May as well have a gematria specialist over numerology. Well, isn't that just a Jewish version of numerology from what I was shown?
Gematria is very linked with numerology. It's very inconsistent to say I appreciate gematria, but I don't like numerology. That's like saying I like hamburgers, but I don't like beef.
Well, James, you're entitled to your opinion.
She is, absolutely. Come on, Heidi, show us a good one.
I am. I'm trying. Oh, here's the.
So, Heidi, I have to ask you this, since the way you always pull cards. What does the penis reversed mean?
I don't know. I've never used these. Oh, I'm trying to get the worst one. Look at the 3 of Cups. You can't see the details.
Oh, that's a party right there.
You can't see it though. Hold on, I gotta get it.
I think the tower's pretty.
I pulled the big erect schlong reversed for you, so I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, look at the death one. The death one is an alien.
Oh, that's pretty grim, yeah.
Alien having sex enough. Is that a woman? Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gross. That's gruesome.
IOX says show us more dirty pictures. Oh, that's even better. A donkey.
I've got a dirty deck, but they're not as bad as Heidi's.
Heidi, that's horrible.
Wait, hold on. This deck is out of control. Sorry, guys. Everybody needs to, if you have kids watching, better put their earmuffs on. Okay.
Oh my, that deck is out of control.
This
what is that? What was that card?
I know. This is the most like screwed up tarot deck ever. This is the
Jeff's face is a picture.
The 9 of Cups.
Hey, listen, Heidi. Wendy Howell has given a nice donation, and she asked, "Can you pull me a card from the naughty deck?"
No way, really?
Yeah, come on. She gave you $50. Shuffle the cards a few times and pull her a naughty card. Get her a dirty one.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God! Look at this one.
$50 super chat. I think she deserves a naughty card.
I'll pull you a whole bunch of these if you'd like. Okay.
Pull her. Just shuffle them though.
All right, Wendy, what are you doing to me here?
Wendy, that is
hilarious. Rated R video today.
My cat chose the devil card for me earlier. She's
I saw that.
Deck all over the floor.
Is this
Great job, Wendy? This is excellent.
I never thought I'd bust these out, but why not? You know, we are talking about the reptilian.
It's the porn tarot.
That's a whole new channel. There you go, Heidi.
The Ron Jeremy tarot deck.
Oh yeah, this is the one I was looking for.
Oh, that's nice.
Don't worry, that's not your card. Hold on, but that one was out, so maybe it is. Hold on.
Wow, Wendy, remember this is your fault. You asked for this.
What are people saying right now? Because
nobody. Just oh my word.
Oh my word. The gobsmacked.
Guys, I totally. You can see they're perfect. There's no they've never been used. All right. So I've never playing with these things ever.
Now Jeff's rods are around. Sorry.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I had to read that out.
Trisha's having a good time.
I needed a laugh. I really needed a laugh because there's been some crazy people just lately. Like,
let's ask this. When Her Majesty the Queen reads tarot, does she use the erotic tarot deck? No, she doesn't.
Yes. Ask if they have good sex.
oh my God.
That's not polite, but since you asked and it's your show.
My channel.
Does Her Majesty the Queen have satisfying sex? Yes, she does.
I don't even want to think about that.
I know, this is crazy. I can't believe we're doing this, especially after you just were on Coast to Coast, and now we're going to be like, and this is going to be the show that we have on.
I'm just a guest on this show. I'm just a guest on this show.
Oh, that's a cute one.
Oh, I can't wait to see what she says is a cute one.
All right.
What are they doing there?
Okay,
describe that to us, Heidi.
I can't find my deck. What is that? I can't.
Is she pleasuring herself with a yin yang?
Oh, a nunny's out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She's playing a like guitar, but a nunny's showing.
I know. You can't. The light's so bad.
Well, that's an
Probably,
interesting.
it's probably a good thing, right?
Yeah, probably a good thing. So,
all right, let me pull you one more, Wendy.
Oh, aren't you going to interpret that for Wendy?
Yeah, come on.
It's the temperance. Okay. I don't know what to say about this with these. I just can't interpret these. They're too.
Well, yin and yang. Wasn't there yin and yang on the guitar? Like balance?
The yin and yang was over her yin and yang.
It says Templanza die masochist. What does that mean?
Say it again.
Templanza. Oh God, this is me. This is embarrassing. Die masochist. It's probably just another language.
It is another language. That sounds like it's Latin, but I'm not a Latin guy.
Don't worry though, you got this one too, Wendy.
Let's pull us some more cards.
Wow.
I hope to pull one of my fortune telling cards because that was a very generous donation.
What are they doing?
What are they doing?
I don't.
So that's like what's this dude doing, Heidi?
Wow.
Whatever he's doing, he seems
page of. What would that be? The page of cut?
I don't know. They're in a different language too. So.
Oh.
Right, if you keep it still. Oh right.
Rods. That's yeah.
The page of rods.
That's what it says.
Whoa. Yeah, there's a young man behind him. And
boy, that's weird right there.
I know.
That's a little yeah.
Yeah, this one's an interesting one.
I mean 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, and this is the wow.
The Knight of what would that be? Pentacles?
Looks like the Knight of Knees to me, but
the butterfly position.
Yeah, this is
wow.
Crazy. Like this is the most crazy deck that I have ever seen.
How much did you spend for that deck?
I don't even know.
I'm going to draw a fortune telling card for when
somebody bring this back around, right?
I don't know. And then like I just thought like they probably thought I was some kind of creep. I go out with these. They're probably like nobody. And this deck was hidden like in the back. And I go, I found it, and
Trisha's having a hot flash over there. She's having in herself.
I think Heidi likes that card.
What the hell is that?
Well, I know what they are, but I'm not going to say.
They're penises.
Oh my goodness! Wow,
it looks like two men together, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, these are just crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
I bet they've never sold another pair of those cards ever.
All I'm going to say is Lori Walls is a little bit of a freak.
I've pulled a card for Wendy, and it's the Judgment card. These are the fortune reading cards, and we were getting some Christmas decorations out last night. I've got about 40 or 50 decks of cards.
Oh my! I don't even want to know what they're pouring on that person.
That's swords.
Did Lori Walls write that deck, Heidi?
Lori Walls, yeah. Let's Google her, but she's interesting.
Boy, yeah.
So
Lori Walls, like
this card is for Wendy too. On a lighter note, judgment, soul searching will bring inner peace to many areas of life. So maybe she needs to, when you want to clear things out and you write it down and you you write it out and then you burn it. So if you're like got anything you want to get off your chest or out your system about somebody, or they've hurt you, write it down and then burn it, and just let rip. Like, I don't swear generally, but I did that once. I wrote a letter to someone, you let rip, you don't post it to them, never post it to them, and then you burn it safely. And I feel that's the message there for Wendy.
Interesting.
It's so cathartic, it really is. And I shocked myself when I did it, of what came out. You know, that you really bury deep how you really feel about something.
What are we talking about?
Well, I never expected to see a tarot like that. That's interesting.
You've got a super chat from somebody called Julio. I don't know whether he's wanting a card.
Julio.
Is it you? Julio?
Hey, I will say there is something going on with the yin yang here. Because
that's twice that's come out.
Oh, that is interesting, huh?
Yeah. So, hold on. Let me just. I wasn't prepared for all this.
Two girls of one cup. That's funny.
I'm a very open-minded person, so when you see me laughing, like, I'm not embarrassed. I just think it's funny.
I think it's hysterical.
That was hilarious.
I mean, I really thought about doing like a whole show on that and just.
Me and Heidi were going to do a full show using them cards, and we're like, can we really do this? Because I've got a deck as well, but not quite as bad as that.
It just goes to show there's a deck for everyone.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a dick in the deck.
Sometimes.
Or a few.
God, wait. I wonder what Scotty would say if he saw that.
Dick in the deck.
Scotty would probably be saying, "Where'd you get those?
Yeah.
What's the name?"
Scotty's a life path number 5, so he's got that rebel in him. So
yeah, Scotty would like that deck.
Yeah, Rex and Scotty are both 5, so don't underestimate them.
Wendy, this card. Okay, so this card reversed, the yin yang. It was reversed. I know. Sorry. This card reversed reveals a yang cycle, which is one of the active, outgoing energy. This time calls for more logical approach to things, but the logic needs to be applied to purposeful action. This cycle is often marked by creativity and new beginnings, sometimes with significant outer change. Let yourself apply more forceful energy at the task at hand and take advantage of this highly charged yang time. That's, you know what, and I know what this is too, and this is exactly what we discussed on your reading, when we had a reading. I just had a reading with Wendy. So.
Interesting.
But it's quite interesting we've got onto this sex tarot when we're talking about Prince Philip early, isn't it?
That is interesting. Are you sure that Justin Timberlake wasn't involved in that tarot at all, Heidi? That erotic tarot, is his name on there anywhere?
No. God, okay, so are we going to do some readings?
We haven't finished the quick round of the
yeah, we haven't finished the people. Sorry.
Yeah, let's finish these and then we can do some readings.
Sorry, go ahead. You talk about the Queen now.
So I'll do the Queen quickly. And so she's a life path number 7, same as Heidi. And she's got an attitude number 7, same as Prince Philip. So she's going to be very psychic herself. No one is ever going to really know. I think this is why the Queen she can be very emotionally detached. There's like a veil, you know. This is why she can go to these things and appear like it's just a normal day when there's been like a big disaster. It's like she's living on a different planet to me, the way she can do that, because I couldn't do that. And I got, personally, she was born, looking at the wrong one there. I do know her date of birth, it's the 21st, if that's correct. Obviously, she has 2 birthdays, but the other one is the day I think she became queen. So I think it's 6th of June. She has 2 birthdays. That's her official birthday. So we get that day off if you're employed in the UK. I think it's 6th of June or something like that. So she's born on the 21st. So she's got a birthday number 3. Now, Kate is a life path number 3, and the Queen's got a birthday number 3. So they may get on. I think, who knows? I mean, but I think they may get on better than she did with Diana. Yeah, she's got an attitude number 7, so that means she's in a year 8. And next year, the Queen goes into a year of endings. So it is going to be interesting, you know, same as Prince Philip is.
But she's going to survive the year, we believe.
Seems so, yeah. But, and don't get me wrong, when I say this, I'm not predicting, like, I'm not wishing that on the Queen or anything, because I know there's going to be people out there saying, oh, you know, you're thinking bad of the Queen. No, I'm not. I'm just like, I'm putting it out there because I did this with Donald Trump. I put it out there that I felt he would, from his numerology, he would get in. If I said that after the event, nobody would believe me, would they? They'd say, oh, it's easy to say that now after the event. So that's why I'm going to put it out there. So her birthdays, I've gone Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor for her names. So that gives her an expression number 3, which she will have a fun side. They do say that about her. She's quite mischievous. Heart's desire is a 6, same as potentially the same as Philip. So the house, the home, the family, but it can also mean that you are very controlling over your children as well, which I do believe she is controlling over her children. Like Prince Andrew wanted to marry Ku Stark and he wasn't allowed to, yet now they're marrying people where they're divorced, they're from another country, yet she was just in a magazine and it wasn't that bad and he couldn't marry her.
Interesting. And if you remember when the Olympics were there in London, the Queen did that whole thing with Daniel Craig and, allowed to come into the palace and film. And,
well, I don't know if that was her, was it? Was that not a copy?
No, it was her. They did a piece of it in the actual palace. And,
wow.
And then the person that jumped out, skydived in from the helicopter wasn't Her Majesty. But then she showed up with Daniel Craig out of the crowd and waved everybody. So I thought that was quite something.
And he's an 11 too, like you are. And she's a 7. And
Daniel Craig and I are a lot alike, Trisha, a lot alike.
Well, he's my favorite Bond, definitely. But what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought then about
Daniel Craig got you flustered.
Yeah, he would. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, if James Bond was to give a life path number, it would be a 7. That's sort of energy you're talking about. So her personality is a 6 as well. So interestingly, she's got these healer, teacher, counselor, family numbers, but it's like she could smother love, which I think would be more her than, control who they marry to the degree, control who they, can be with or can't be with. I think she's losing her grip on that now, though, because obviously with William and Harry, they're marrying out of the normal. That wouldn't have been allowed years ago.
I think she's okay with it. She's got K2 in the first house. She likes foreigners. That's, it's so weird because I think that's why that's allowed to happen. She probably likes that girl.
I wonder if the Queen Mother then was more influential, because obviously she's not alive now. When she was alive, I wonder if she was more influential on what could and couldn't happen.
I guarantee you her mother was probably a Cancer ascendant in Islatia, which would have made her a little more snaky. Do we have her birthday?
I'll have to get that, because I was thinking that earlier, because I heard a lot, last night on some YouTube stuff that I was looking at, and I was like, yeah, maybe, it seems she was more on the dark side with Philip than...
Yeah, I have a feeling her mother was not a saint.
4th of August 1900.
Jesus.
That's a Queen Mother?
Queen Mother, yeah.
Do we have a time?
I could have a look on Astrotheme, but on here it said 4th of August 1900. So let's have a look. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So she would have been a life path 10, 18, 19, 20. She was
Happy birthday, Leslie.
She was a 22-4 like Charles Manson. They can be dictators. They can be really great and leave a lasting legacy, or they can be dictators. Yeah. She'd be very controlling, the Queen Mother.
Can you see if you can look on Astro Theme and see if you can get that time? And the city? It's probably not in there. But you never know. I mean, if they all follow astrology, they probably all know their times. That's for sure.
She's a 22-4, the Queen Mother was. So, yeah, she had that possible dictator. Even though she wasn't the Queen, it's like she overshone the Queen a lot until she passed away. Queen Mother did, from what I have witnessed anyway. I'm no expert on this, but I just hope that nobody's watching that.
Okay, yeah, she is definitely a different beast. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's see here.
The guy from Person of Interest who played Jesus is Jimmy Caviezel.
Right, well, we've got our ascendant here, so there must be a time. Let's have a look if I click on it. Then she's got a Gemini ascendant, but that's Western. Right, they're saying 12:30 a.m. in London, Heidi. I don't know how accurate that would be. But it gives her, it'd be interesting what you're going to, Gemini.
That would make her a Taurus, I'm pretty sure, and that makes sense because that's all about money and having pleasure and, well, you know, we're financials. Taurus is the bull, you know, it's the, and if you look at Wall Street and stuff, you know, that's the symbol. I mean, there's a lot of money and wealth, and I'm not saying Taurus is a bad sign at all. It depends on what your charts are at, depends on what's going on there, but hold on, let's see.
They're very often money. My mum's a Taurus in Western, and she's very money orientated.
No, she stays, oh, wow. She's not even 1 degree of Gemini, but she's got Mars conjunct Venus in the first house. That's power struggles with men, women. She's got Sun and Mercury in Aslacia. She's got Sun in Aslacia. She does have a planet in Aslacia. She's got a moon in Vishak. She's the dictator here. She's got Rahu and Jupiter in Scorpio. She's got Ketu in the 12th in Rohini, Saturn in Mula. Yeah, she is...
So interesting, since she's passed, a lot of these marriages that are happening now would not have happened, I don't think, before.
No, definitely.
She's had a lot more say than we realise.
Now, the Queen Mother was married to the King, Elizabeth's father.
Can there have been incest with her? She could have been raped or some incest.
Who, the Queen or the Queen Mother?
The mother. You know,
I mean, the Queen's father died when Albert, when... God, she was, I think she was what, 20?
Yeah, I think she was, you know, I'm going
to... she was the Queen Consort of King George VI.
Interesting.
He died in 52. And then she was known as Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Rather than Queen Elizabeth II is obviously the Queen of England. So yeah, she was married to King George VI.
Very interesting.
From 36 until his death in 52.
Yeah, I don't know.
So she was known as Queen Elizabeth. But she wasn't the Queen, was she? Was
she attractive when she was younger? Because I feel like she wasn't when I saw.
Who, the Queen Mother?
Yeah.
I think the Queen was more attractive from what I remember. Let's have a look.
Because, well, and back then they didn't have like all this, you know, stuff that we have now to do.
No. But my grandmother was
charismatic, I would say. That woman, the Queen one, was more charismatic. Like, this queen is more shy, awkward, introverted. And, you know, it's funny, she didn't let any cameras in the palace or whatever. I also thought it was interesting how the palace caught on fire in a certain year. There was a year that the palace caught on fire, which...
No, she wasn't as good looking. My grandmother was really attractive. I mean, you remind me actually of a young version of my grandmother who had moon in Scorpio in Western. I don't know about Vedic. But my grandmother was really beautiful when she was younger. But the Queen Mother wasn't as attractive as the Queen, I wouldn't say.
Yeah. That's maybe why she was mean to her daughter.
She was pretty strict with her, yeah.
I think there was some jealousy there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, so yeah, if the Queen's names that I've got and everything are correct, she's got quite a lot of sixes and sevens. So
all right, let's get
this. Yeah, anyway, I'll hand it
over. What I have to do is we kind of took a little longer, so I have a reading at 5, so I have to get off here by then. So do we even want to see her chart? Let's try to show it a little bit, maybe do a glance.
If you could do a quick, so you've got like just under an hour, yeah?
Yeah, but we got to do a couple of readings.
Yeah.
All right, so. Oh, and Jeff, everybody was asking where we get the rods. And so if you want to order rods, you ask Jeff.
Right, I'll put my website in here.
I do put it in the chat. Yeah, great idea. Okay, so here's her chart. K2 in the first house, like me. But she was probably artistic, I would say. Guarantee you she was artistic. I guarantee you she liked music a lot. She liked tarot. She was way more mystical. She's still here. You know, she's definitely, the only thing is she's got Saturn and Vishaka. That's kind of like in the 12th house. This is Vishaka can go south, and Saturn there is kind of, you know, it can be a little tough. She's got Moon in the 8th house. I already said what that is. She's got Rahu in the 7th, meaning she could marry a foreigner, which completely makes sense why she married somebody from Greece. This is her first house, 7th house. So this is Vedic astrology. It's different than Western. This is, you know, though, hold on, what dash she's in us? I knew she's got to be in a Saturn. She might, you know, she might live longer than we think. I'm just going to go to our transits real quick. Yeah, she's having Saturn in her first house. She's going to have a rough 2 years, that's for sure. Let's say that. And she's got Rahu conjunct her moon. She's not going to have an easy 2 years. I mean, this is where maybe dementia could kick in or something. So I hate to say that because I don't want to say that, but I mean, I know nothing about this woman. So, and I'm not going to, I've seen some shows today and I saw what they say she does. And, you know, I don't know. I don't have proof. Yeah.
We're not here to like rip them, be horrible. It's just what we're
Could her chart go that way? I'm going to say it's always a possibility. Yes, absolutely. She's got a chart that can go, yeah, it's unpredictable. And you know why I say that? Because that moon in Slatia, the snake, you know, that's realistically why I can say that with K2 in the first and moon in the 8th house, conjunct Neptune. I mean, that's like illusions, addictions, and it's also sex. And you just stop. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go too much into that. She's got Mars and Jupiter in the second. Definitely and you know what? I also noticed she's not a very good speaker. Okay. Did you notice she read everything that she said? Everything was read. Everything was on a script, especially when she was younger. Because when you have K2 in the first house, you're so introverted. Like you'll get, like for me, I do this and I still, like it stresses me out. Like I really don't like YouTubes. I like reading charts. That's my passion. YouTube's just helps get my name out there and we get to talk and it's great. It's fun. But, you know, realistically, we're very private. So is she. She could hang out with herself all day long until the cows come home and she's content as can be, you know? So it's hard to say which way her chart went. I would say his chart is a little more dicey when it comes to that. I'd say he is definitely more, you know, dangerous that way than she is.
Yeah, the Queen, actually, she did say they both served in the military, actually. When Jeff said earlier, what was he was in the Navy, but a lot of the time, I think William and particularly Harry have probably done the most real effort in the military. She was smart.
She was a smart woman. She was talented. She was like engineer status.
She'll get her hands dirty.
There's nothing this woman can't figure out and do. She's a very intelligent person. Good old Lizzie. So, yeah.
Yeah, some of the royal family put more effort into the military than others, let's say. Some had a bit of it was their status that got them up the ranks, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't, honestly, when I read these kind of charts, I'm so skeptical. I won't go into too much detail because I just can't trust it. You know, we can't trust those times. We can't trust those birthdays. It's just my opinion. So, all right. So, Sandra wants some cards. We're going to do some readings here. There is somebody that asked me to do a reading for them. I already agreed to it earlier. That sent me a message. And she's one of Jeff's subscribers as well. So we're pulling cards here for because I have a reading with Sandra coming up this week. So we're not doing a reading, but she wants some cards pulled. And then Julio. And then we have Jasmine. Don't worry,
I'm just writing Jasmine's down now.
Okay, I see you're on top of things here. Jeff, do you have your cards ready to rock? Or the rods. Or rods. Jeff will take some rod questions.
Yeah, we'll do the rods.
Don't know whether I got Julio. Is Julio left his details?
No. So
all right. Okay.
Pull him some cards.
We're pulling cards for Julio. Who are we doing first?
Julio.
Julio. Ooh, lovers. I put my glitter.
You get a package and it wasn't your rod, so.
I put my glitter lips on today. Well, she's got a glitter lips. Lovers, there are two paths there. Be true to yourself. This is for Julio. I was going to use my tarot, but decided to use these.
Oh, those are nice.
Be interested to see if there's love in his cards.
I have the Queen of Pentacles, so there's definitely a woman coming that could be, I'd say, you know, like a earth sign. Also, you have this one. This is a relationship, I think, for sure. Because then I have this. And they're all upright. Don't worry. Relax. This is not typical, guys. Heidi always gives reverse cards. So I would say
that's good. They're all upright.
That's a great reading coming from.
That's a miracle.
Oh, and it says some little helpful advice. Clear your energy.
And I pulled this card for you, Universal Truth from the deck of Cosmic Initiation. And it says that you found a new level of truth within yourself. So spend time to allow it to touch into all aspects of your life. The truth rises to meet you. Be open to it. Being truthful with yourself opens more than you know. Creation is the universal truth, and it is rich within you. The truth is the doorway to the evolution you seek. The truth will lighten the spirit and draw you into greater awareness.
So if that,
I will say, I had to throw a negative kick into the pot.
Okay. I feel strongly about a relationship and maybe decision making.
You have this card, lack of motion or sense of personal freedom. Maybe you have somebody like bogging you down or something. This card shows a woman tied up with vines around her wrists. Or things can be severely stuck. A major drama may be going around you, stopping you from moving forward. If it's not technically the case, look what's tying you up in your own personal life. Look at your life and see how you can be your own jailer. Are you tying yourself up in some emotional or negative habit you refuse to deal with? So,
is this guy a bit of a workaholic? Because we keep getting like work cards out as well. Because work may be getting in the way of his love life too.
Possibly. All right, then we're going to go to Sandra.
Just cards is this?
Sandra D.
Sandra D. Oh, Sandra D had your Jeff's t-shirt on there. Not Jeff's, but one of Jeff's t-shirts. Is that Sandra D?
Mm-hmm.
That is Sandra. It should be at the event on December 10th.
You look very good in it too.
And just to be clear, it was.
Does Sandra live in Florida?
It was a t-shirt she purchased from me, but it was not my t-shirt.
I meant that. Yeah, she purchased it, not your actual t-shirt.
She does. Well, I don't know if she wants to disclose her location, but yeah, she does live in Florida. It's a big
I'm just going to throw this out there for you. If you want to just do your reading like together instead and just wait till I'm down there, we can just do that too. Because I'm going to be there for a few days.
So I pulled the dragonfly. These are beautiful. So this is about having confidence during this time of great joy, renewal, and connection to spirit. I used to get a lot of dragonflies coming to me when I used to sit in the garden as well. They're very symbolic dragonflies, so look up the dragonfly.
Well, you know what Heidi's going to bring up. Yeah. And the Lover's reverse. So I think you're having some relationship issues, is my guess.
You go through a renewal, rebirth.
That's very
interesting. Well, maybe you are going through it, not that you need to. Maybe you're going through it.
And then listen to this. I pulled for her the Universal Freedom card, which states that you have the freedom to do or be whatever you want. You only need to claim that right. Your choices are limitless. Reach for them. And inner healing has given you the freedom to manifest on a higher level. You have let go and now experience a great freedom within that will open many doors for you. Great growth and expansion. You've made a choice that's given you great freedom. And I think I've pulled that card for you before, Sandra, at some other
Maybe
time.
you're still worrying about a breakup. Empowerment.
This is a chance of like a rebirth, like a new level for Sandra D. Like, as I say, going up another level of enlightenment, you could say.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. 21 is going because they've got a pilot show with Anna Navarro. We're doing our test run. Good luck with your test run. Their new show will be coming out soon.
Okay. So that's what it looks like for you.
You're hilarious, Trisha. That was funny. Well, it's not really Jeff's shirt, but.
No, I didn't mean it was your shirt. That came out the wrong way. Jeff's shirt.
That's funny.
You know, they're on your website.
Yeah, that vibe is all through this show today, isn't it? With the sexy tarot and all that stuff.
Well, Jeff, you are in that email I sent you. You are in a December. You're in a month 5. Remember what we said about 5s?
Chicka chicka wow wow.
I'm glad you've decided to change it to January, because I wanted to say that and I was thinking, well, he's asking about these dates, not January's, but I'm glad you've changed it to January.
It's the first time I've ever made a decision based on astrology and numerology.
But when you sent me the date, the 13th of December, I was like, whoa, that number keeps coming up, because I told you what that was about.
You did.
All right, guys, we're talking about Jasmine now.
Right. Okay.
You want to start? Go ahead. You start. Yeah, we gotta be on task for a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. Focus. Yeah. So Jasmine is a life path number master 22-4. So she could do one of two things. She could go out there and do great things, leave a lasting legacy, build a great. She could be, it's a visionary. It's very psychic. But she could also be a dictator. So it depends which way she's going to go. Are you going to go the high vibration way or the low vibration way? That's her life path and the possibilities here. She's got a 1 birthday like me. She's born on the 19th. A leader, not a follower. She needs to, I don't know if she works for someone else, but she'd be better off working for herself, running her own company, running her own business. She's got a 3 attitude number, so she has got a fun, creative side to her. And this is just a snippet, because normally, like I said, look at your full, all your core numbers and everything else. This is just a taster. She's been in a year 4, which has been about hard work, determination, not giving up. And she goes into year 5 next year in January. Because she's born in February, it'll start to change in January. So it's all about, it could be chaotic next year, fast-paced, and also magnetizing lots of people and opportunities to you. Make the most of it, I would say. But be mindful, it could be chaotic. That's just a snippet, and I'm going to draw a card from these.
All right, your Taurus ascendant, I'll just go with some of your astrology. Taurus ascendant, 29 degrees though, so it's such late degrees that you're going to feel Taurus and Gemini. Okay, so Taurus ascendant in the nakshatra of Mrigashira. This is somebody that's always searching for something. Mrigashira it literally is kind of has a never unsatisfied feeling, because it's always looking for something. I would say also another thing you have K2 conjunct Venus. Okay, so if you're watching this and you saw that the prince had K2 conjunct Venus, that's why this is a little bit different. The point about it is, if it's not, yours is in a different nakshatra. Yours is in Denisa, which is in Capricorn. So you're more about doing the right thing, law and order type of person. You think about money a lot. You think about, leadership, status, that type of thing. That's kind of how you are run. Not 100%. You're really good with your hands. You're a good healer. I don't want to say that. I'm not going to go too crazy on the 5th house thing. You might have had kids a little bit later in life, possibly. It's definitely maybe could have, or then maybe it was a little harder to have kids for you. Also, you have Mars, Sun, and Mercury conjunct It's like engineer mind. Like I guarantee you do something with, like you're going to be really good and focused on things with money, obviously, but you're also really good on things like spiritual things. Like you have one of those charts, but then you have that practical, do I want to do that type of personality? You know, is it even real? Should I do this? Because your moon's in Purva Falguni. That's all about contracts, negotiations. You can work for the government. You know, you have like this law and order chart, but then you have very, very psychic energy. K2 conjunct Venus is somebody that's very psychic, somebody that even can talk to dead people and paranormal stuff. And your moon is in Purva Falguni. This can be kind of like the party animal thoughts, the way you think. Purva Falguni is definitely, but you're a healer. Let's get that straight for sure. But your degree is 1 degree that if you were not born, if you were born 1 minute later, this whole chart could change. So we don't know 100%.
Wow.
What did you pull? Did you pull any cards? You're having some change. And maybe some inheritance could come into your chart, just so you know. Because I pulled this card for you, and I just looked at your transits. You have Saturn that just went into your 8th house, conjunct Mercury. Your 8th house is death, endings, letting go, rebirth, but it's also digging deep. It's also the card of inheritance, or the house of inheritance. It can be. So.
And this card jumped out. I was going to pull her a card before you started talking, and the look card come out, the 4-leaf clover.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I swear, I left it there just in case I had a chance to say it, but that jumped out the deck. So
yeah,
you're right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities ahead. Was Jeff pulling a card, or
Jeff?
I didn't want to leave him out there.
Well, that's all right. I know that we're trying to be time conscious, but I pulled the commitment card, and the commitment card says there's a rededication to the self, an evolution of the spirit, conscious promises come to bear. So there's the inheritance thing.
Oh wait, and did you see her question?
What was it?
No.
Is it a good time to invest?
Oh yeah.
Wow, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah. Reach forward and grow towards potential. A recognition of needs to focus on self and commit to new ventures. Healing is acknowledged. Journey towards growth can be resumed. New faith in the self opens new opportunities and promises. Wow.
Sounds good. But
Sounds real good.
For your chart, I'm going to say this. It sounds good. It's a good time. It could be a very good time to invest. Absolutely. Okay. But be cautious about it, because you're having a Rahu K2 return. And I do kind of think you might be having a breakup and a hostility going on. And watch, if don't invest with anybody, I would say do it on your own.
Would you recommend, or does it not make a difference in Mercury retrograde? Does it depend on the person's chart?
Yeah, totally. Because if you have a Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, like it could be a good thing.
Good for you, yeah.
Like right now, it could be a great time because Mercury is stationed. Now it's about as strong as it gets. When it stops and it stations, that's when it's really strong. Like maybe do it tonight.
How do you feel about travel during Mercury retrograde?
Dangerous. Yeah. But I can fly anytime my moon's in Revati. So the best thing to do is fly on a plane with Heidi. You'll be safe.
This is the thing, is that when people bang on about Mercury retrograde, especially in the UK, you'll go how bad it is. But they don't understand, if they're born on a Mercury retrograde, it could be really good for them. And this is where having your chart done really is important, I feel.
And you have to redo things. It's all about redo, rewrite, rethink, renew, redo. It's all the
Relax.
When it's a great time to do things. You know, it's not, and it depends on where Mercury is in your chart. Like, for instance, if you have Mercury in a bad place that's constantly causing you issues in your life, sometimes when Mercury goes retrograde, it actually can feel a little bit like, wow, you know, like you relax a little bit.
I think mine's I've been very irritated the last few days, wanting to just really speak out.
Yeah. It's hitting you to all that craziness in your 11th house.
I had somebody message me, I'll just quickly tell you this. She said, have you not emailed me my reading yet? Because I should be preparing for the end of my life and you're going to tell me I'm going to die. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh. I just wouldn't even tell somebody that. It was crazy.
One thing I want to say to you too, I think Jasmine, yeah, There's something going on, I think, with relationships with you. It could be good, it could be bad. I didn't look too much into it, but my point is, you've got, like, I have never pulled this card, actually. The anxiety card.
That's like the Nine of Swords, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Something's going on. But you just be cautious. Anytime you want to invest something with astrology, I always say, like, do it cautiously, because you never know. I feel like when it's investing, I can see it, and then I'll pull cards to see it. But it sounded like we were all positive on the luck, the luck spectrum. Julio, we already did yours, actually. So we did yours as well. So the other person that asked me to do something was Spark Game. You know that person?
Julio's born the day before me. I just want to say quickly, he's the 18th of June.
Oh.
But I've just worked his numbers out, and you picked up a lot about relationships, and he might be having problems. He's a double 6, so often they do have.
Is his time there? Is Julio's time on there?
I don't think it was.
Okay.
I think he did write on it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I should have written that down. Yes, 1:54 p.m. Denver, Colorado.
Nice.
Say the birthday again.
18th of June, so it's the day before me. 1980.
Okay.
1:54 p.m.
Denver, you said?
Yeah. I ought to remember to write the times down if I see them. But 6s can have a lot of problems in relationships. They can be walked all over. 6 and 2s are very similar that way.
Ooh, this is one of those charts. Okay. All right, I'm going to be kind of cautious what I say here, because you have a lot of planets in the 12th house, and it's a lot. So meaning there's definitely there's a lot of something going on in your life. There was some karma. The 12th house is self-sacrifice, hospitals, jails, mysteries, hidden talents, prisons, hidden enemies. You definitely have some hidden enemies for sure. I would say they come out of nowhere. Maybe issues with the mother, maybe issues with brother, maybe issues with family, like in general, just all over the map here. But you also might have been in the military. So Virgo ascendant in the nakshatra of Hasta. So that means you're good with your hands, you're a good healer. You're also probably a really good cook. You're probably a little controlling. You like things a certain way. You are somewhat of a little bit of a perfectionist. Like, at least you try to be. You act this way. You're very critical. You're hard. You like certain things done a certain way. Jeff knows a lot about this Virgo Hasta. But anything you touch could turn to gold. It's a great thing to have. You have golden hands. You could be interested in palmistry. You could be a good writer, writing contracts. You could also be really good with films, movies, directing, movie critic, stuff like this. I mean, there is, you definitely, I would say you could have been in the military or something for a multitude of reasons. So, or you could have been in jail for a little bit. I mean, it goes, it's like one of those things. Could have went to the military, or you could be a professor, a teacher, but you have a pretty strong chart. This is not a chart to read on the fly, okay? I think you might be going through a breakup right now. Or maybe you're choosing between two people. Possible.
That's what was coming up, wasn't it?
Yeah, is that what you have?
When you looked at his cards, Julio.
Oh, did I already look at his cards? You're right.
Yeah. Mm.
So it came back out again, the same cards.
Yeah.
Okay,
same something,
that's confirmation. That's funny. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I would say the past year and a half was pretty intense for you. Okay, definitely. You might have traveled or something, but definitely enemies, definitely could have been emotional issues where you felt a little bit. Okay, your moon is conjunct a lot of problems, a lot of planets, meaning you could have a lot of problems mentally, like stress, addictions. It's the moon conjunct all those planets can be very, very stressful. lots of anxiety, lots of fear, worry. Worry is a better word because you have Saturn there with the moon and with all this stuff. So, and with Mars, it's kind of a lot of stuff going on. So the worst of the worst is over because emotionally, like when people's moons and emotions are a little out of whack, that can really be stressful. Rahu is out of that house. It's in your 11th house now. So you might even move the next 2 years. You have Saturn in your 4th. You might move and you have Jupiter in the 2nd, which could be really good for money and opportunities for you, making money.
Heidi, did you see that question from Allison?
No.
It says, Western astrology has me as a triple Gemini and 12th house stellarium in Gemini. Vedic says I'm triple Taurus. How can they be so different?
Because they just are. That's the problem. Like, here's the deal. When people come from Western world, a lot of them can't handle it, like hearing their chart the other way. But you know, the whole point of it is you think you're this, but the signs are irrelevant. You're like, really, the point of Vedic astrology is your chart is made up of more than just these 3 signs. Okay. It's where things are placed. I use these nakshatras that break the signs into these padas and everything. So we're getting low on time here. So we got to hold on the super chats here. But and if you do, and we don't get to you today, I'll get to you the next time. You know, that's the problem with this is your chart is made up of so much more than just these signs. That's all I can really say. Okay.
Violet Flames just sent a super chat. I don't know if you want to do that one next. If you've got time.
Yeah, I have to do this one person that I already said.
Sorry.
He watches all of our videos and always watches. Okay. 12-6-78. She knows who she is. Going through a rough time. Yes, you are. Okay. You have Mars in your first house. You're Sagittarius ascendant, the nakshatra of Mula. You're having Saturn run through your first house right now. Saturn is restrictions, barriers. It's restraints. But I'll just say this. I have Mars in my first house, and I was petrified when Saturn was going to go through my first house. And what it's going to do is, you know, start learning astrology, start learning something like this, because it's going to really help you. You're a natural detective. You want to get to the roots of things. You want to dive deep and dissect things and figure things out. So I will say to you that you went through probably the worst 2 years, past 2 years, emotionally, money-wise, expenses. I mean, it couldn't be any more crazy, okay? And I know this sounds horrible, but it's not over when Saturn goes in. Now Saturn went through your 12th house. It hit your Sun and Mercury, because you have Sun and Mercury in the 12th. You'd be a great astrologer, just so you know. Great with, and you're K2 conjunct Moon in Aquarius, and you're detached. You're cold. You can detach from your emotions so quickly and so easily that it's really like, it's almost like having K2 in the first house. So you have issues with relationships. You'll get bored easily. You're always kind of looking for something better. And if you don't have, and it's always like, if somebody hurts you, you're like done. Like you can put that guard. You're like the Berlin Wall, you know, guarded up, all guarded up. And you don't really want that because you have Mars in the first. It makes you more independent. You won't ask anybody for help. You know, it's like one of those things. So
is that 6th of December or the 12th of June?
Sorry.
6th of December.
Yes. Maybe some issues with siblings if you have any. Definitely a little detachment from the mother. Could be the whole family thing. You know, maybe the brother, maybe siblings. You know, it depends. But on the positive side, right now, the next 2 years, Saturn's in your first house. Saturn was in your 12th house. Now it's in your first house in Sagittarius. I learned astrology. I started doing this. So it's not all that bad, but you're just going to feel like you have to put in the work. You're going to feel tired. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to feel like you can't catch a break. Next 2 years, you're going to say, God, when's the next shoe going to drop? You know, it's really not easy. It's not fun. But you can have amazing personal breakthroughs if you put the work into it. And you're independent. You need to lead. You need to be on your own. So you need to do something on your own. You're not going to do well working for people. You're like the lawyer. The Empress. It's a nice card.
Same life path number as you, Heidi.
Totally makes sense.
That's what I thought while I was listening. I was like, well, your life path number, you know, the astrologer, the detective, anything, you know, to the occult.
Yeah, and I think you have some attachments you're having a hard time getting over right now too. And it might be grudges, like madness, you know, just grudges that you can't get over. You have to remove this stuff. You know what? Attachment. Yes. Your nakshatra is in Mula. Mula is going to the root of things and digging deep. And this could be stuff from the past of your past life that you have no control of. Nothing. There's no control, that you cannot control this. So what's going to happen is the more you dig deep, and I don't care if you're literally like digging deep underground and finding gems. I don't know. Like it could be anything. The more you do something like this, agriculture, farming, or whatever, or you do more research and investigation about your own self and, you know, detective work, it's going to help you like get through things. It's going to help you. And then pretty soon you're probably going to be on YouTube with us. You're a natural detective.
Yeah, and with a 6 birthday and a 9 attitude number, the 9 is a very psychic number and the 6 is the healer, teacher, counselor. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. But you're going to have to put the work in. It's not going to come easy. It's going to not be fun.
In the year of new beginnings now, because their birthday is 6th of December, so now's the time to really like go for it with new beginnings.
Yeah.
That's when I did it, in my year of new beginnings. But you've got to put the hard work in, and it does pay off eventually.
Excellent.
All right, Violet, we'll do yours last. I know I had you. I know what's going on in you. I think I already said to you yesterday, but I'll explain it again.
Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, because you have a lot of planets in your first house. 1993. Oh.
Is your cat around, Jeff, just while Heidi's doing that?
No, I think he's out in the other room sleeping.
What's SLC, Utah?
Salt Lake City. Trisha, is it cold over there?
Yes, we've had snow. Which is a bit of a shock because we haven't had much snow really. Not where we live, by the coast. Further up north, they usually do get a lot of snow, but we don't normally get. It's absolutely freezing.
Wow.
So yeah, we've got. And I think I was listening to Joni Petrie the other day, and she said there's going to be extremes of weather. And we've not had it this cold for quite a while. And I didn't even know it was coming for next weather girl.
Oh, I thought, good thing you asked me, because you don't have K2 in the first. That was a mistake. You have Mars in your first house. Okay, so you're still a Gemini. I remember that. Gemini with Mars in the first house, but it's in Ardra too. So anytime you have Mars in the first house, you're definitely more aggressive, more assertive. Okay, I have Mars in my first house. But what that does to you is it draws enemies to you, draws action, draws problems to you as well, like anger problems, people that will be, you know, just hating on you. It's because you make a great warrior. You're a great like person that has very independent. It's great for getting things done, independent, going for what you want. But on the negative, it can bring in some issues with, because you can be a little, how do I say this? Gemini in Ardra with Mars can kind of be a little, you can rub people the wrong way, because Geminis rub people the wrong way no matter what. It's just how it goes. So that's just because they, you know, people just think they're two-faced and they play different parts and they're blah, blah, blah. I don't feel that way. I don't look at Geminis that way, but some people do. So you can rub people the wrong way, especially with Mars in the first house. But the Mercury retrograde is affecting you just because it's affecting a Gemini. So it's giving you communication problems. We know Mercury's communications. You have all the opportunities in the world right now to do something like this, like your YouTube stuff that you were doing. So you just have to bust through it. Don't worry about this. You have Saturn in your 7th house. That's what it was. I remember there was something in the 7th house. So Saturn in the 7th house. The 7th house is marriages, business partnerships. It's mass fame. Okay. It's any kind of, it's honor, reputation, foreign countries. It's others, just anybody else that you communicate with. It's your opposite sign. So when Saturn goes there, just like it kind of goes to your 1st house, it's going to test you with others because it's doing that. So now it's more about your 7th house. So you're going to have 2 years. Like, you want to start the YouTube channel? I promise you, it's not going to be easy. Saturn transit is never going to be easy. Never, ever, ever. But if you get over the fear and the worry, and you'll be tested, and it will make you feel like you shouldn't do it, the self-doubts. And that's where you can't give up. Because if you give up, then that was the test. You know, Saturn test is over. So now it's not going to do that. You have to break through that. It will test you, I mean. And I think you have a relationship in your life that's kind of a barrier. You know what? You have that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pulled that out while you were talking.
Ready for this? These fell out.
Wow, 3 of Swords, same card lot.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I think there's somebody else involved too, maybe with that, you know? Could be like, because I got this backwards door to romance. There's something, and you know what? Maybe that's going to affect you. That's going to affect you. Don't let that affect you, where you can't focus on this kind of stuff, because that's
yeah. Since I've been single and there's been no men drama, I can focus on what I'm doing, and as soon as any drama with that, it gets in the way and it starts to go downhill.
And Mercury retrograde can bring somebody back from your past, anybody back from your past. That's definitely what it does, you know? Wow. So, and when it does, it's Venus retrograde, Mars retrograde, it's a given. Mercury retrograde, if Mercury is the spouse in your chart and like has a big heavy significator in there, oh yeah, it will bring it back for sure. And it will be tested. And it's not always like it's always a bad thing. You know, you'll be tested. Maybe their exes will call them. Something with communication that throws, you know. But my opinion is, you want to do a YouTube channel, you cannot have those distractions. I've been single for 2 years and like, you know, learning astrology. You can't, because you have that chart that can get disfocused. Geminis need to be like,
and even negative supposed friends with drama can knock you off track doing it as well.
Yeah.
I've noticed. But she's in year 8 next year, like from February onwards, which should be a great year to really be empowered. I don't know if that's in her chart.
Okay, it can be great.
Still.
It can be great, but here's the thing. Yeah, there's definitely somebody with another party involved. I just pulled 3 of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Okay, the thing I'm going to say to you is, your Saturn return is in your 8th house. I'm telling you this in advance. So right now, Saturn is going to test your relationships. It's going to test how you are with others and everything like this. You're younger. I mean, you found astrology at a good time, because what's going to happen is after Saturn transits the 7th house, then it goes to your 8th house. Saturn return in the 8th house is tough unless you're a very Saturnized person, and and you know what? Saturn's one of your strongest planets. So let's say if you this is how your life will be. Right now, if you focus on all this stuff that you want to do, you will have that transformation during your Saturn return. It's going to be freaking unbelievable. Unbelievable. You're going to transform and heal everybody. Now, you follow down the wrong path with focus on relationships, focus on everybody getting on your nerves and hurting you and everything like that. You might lose. You could end up with addictions. You know, like these are the things. Oh, look at that little baby.
Cat is so beautiful.
Called him in.
I want to like abduct Jeff's cat because I love his cat. He's beautiful.
He's hungry.
He's hungry.
it's getting about that time. And Violet Flame asked to pull a card from the Cosmic deck, and it's kind of trippy, the one that I pulled for her. So yeah, let me show you what it is. It's called the Guardian Angel card, and it so fits what you guys are talking about. I'm gonna find the exact. Here it is, and it's not the prettiest card, but it says Guardian Angel, and it says this: added guidance comes from the higher self. Be still and listen. You can draw from greater resources. Assistance is coming from within. The wisdom from the past returns to open you to greater perspectives. An element of protection is around you. There's no need for fear. Ask for directions. The guideposts are there. Your energies can be renewed and your strength can be restored as you focus on your higher self. Do not be distracted. That's craziness right there, folks.
It is. Looks like we're on task tonight. We're
It does.
yeah.
But
But
it's funny. Trisha's like, "Where's Rooney?" And then he comes walking in.
I just love your cat. I know I sound like weird, but it's so beautiful.
yeah.
Well, like I don't think Rooney is not exactly a people person. So somebody said, "Will you bring him on December 10th?" I'm not sure he would think that's a good time.
My cat's just let herself in as well. No, I would abduct your cat if I lived near you, but sorry.
All right, guys. I have to get moving. I have a reading in 5 minutes. So
see that?
Yeah, I
started
did.
again on the background. It's time to go.
That is so funny.
It's been a pleasure, ladies.
Yeah, it's been good.
Did I read all the cards? Yes, I did. Yeah.
I think we did. We got all the super chats done.
Yeah. All right. So, and then we did that one extra person that emailed me. So, or that wrote a comment. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to get off. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to send.
Nice to see you all. Nice to play with
Thank
you guys.
Everybody
Have
for tuning
fun.
in.
Thanks, Jeff. I will see you next week. That sounds so funny.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.